Hey guys, so it's my second day on the water fast, and energy levels are okay. Uh, Actually, yesterday was probably a bit harder. It changes, sometimes the first day is easy and the second day is harder. Uh, but yesterday was also a bit difficult because my equipment was really playing up yesterday. So today I had a little less issues with getting my equipment up and running, and I uninstalled a bunch of stuff, reinstalled a bunch of stuff, and things just seem to be working better. Uh, but on the subject of water fasting, I think I just should mention that water fasting means you only drink water, and if you like to, or if you really want to, you have your black coffee, yeah, without milk and without sugar. But guys, I just want to mention, like, for whatever reason, if this idea comes into your mind and you think you want to suddenly fast like this, just drinking only water and black coffee, don't do it if you have never done it before. And if you have never done it before, then you really need to speak to somebody who has, because there are a few tips and there are a few things you need to know. Okay, this is probably the 10th time I'm doing a water fast, if not more. Okay, so I know what to watch out for. I know how to be careful about it. Okay. It doesn't mean I'm cheating. I'm not. I'm only drinking water and black coffee. But all I'm saying is that, like anything else, just don't jump into it if you have no idea what it can do to you and how it can affect your body, because you might end up feeling quite sick if you're not kind of aware. So, yeah, don't try this at home, okay? Or talk to me if you want to. So anyway, I'm so glad that my equipment is a little bit better than yesterday. Not playing up as much, thank God. And also respect, man. Yeah, respect for, like, YouTube content creators. Jeez, like, I thought people would just, stand in front of a camera and just take a video and post it on YouTube, and it is that simple. And in a sense it is, but it takes a while, man. It takes a while, because, like, there's so many settings when it comes to actually getting yourself on camera. And I'm still like maybe 25% there, so I have another kind of maybe 75% to go in terms of kind of getting my settings right on the on video and all these things. And maybe I need better equipment. That may be why. But anyway, respect for the YouTube content creators, right? A friend of mine recently told me that it takes 10,000 hours to be really good at anything. Okay. And I thought to myself, that friend of mine is in this particular WhatsApp group of ours as well. Anyway, I thought to myself, 10,000 hours is a lot to put into something to be really good at it, right? But having said that, for, this journey of trying to be a YouTube content creator, of trying to express myself on YouTube, it's been about 3 years coming. Kind of, I used to try these trial shots. I never published it. Take these little videos and just delete them. And yeah, I mean, I probably spent 50 hours already over the last 3 years. So respect, yeah. To do things, to do something well, takes time, and I'm still only like 25% there. Like, I got another whole long way to go before I can kind of confidently do this properly and do a good quality video and all that. So anyway, apologies for boring you with all this technical stuff. Okay, it's not all this technical stuff that I want to talk about. I don't particularly want to talk about water fasting, except for the fact that I have taken up this challenge to water fast for 21 days or until my body breaks down. Okay. I know what it means when I say that my body breaks down, because it has happened before. So if it happens again this time, I shall tell you. Until then, I don't need to discuss that. But hey, let's talk about something a lot more interesting. Cryptocurrency, blockchain. Okay. And so let me start with a provocative statement or a provocative question. Is cryptocurrency from God or from the devil? Now, you might find that question a little unusual, as in you might think like, hey, nobody's ever framed a question like that before. I don't know, or you may have heard it before, okay? But it was not so long ago when that was not such an unfamiliar question when it came to COVID vaccinations, okay? It was a fairly polarized, globally spread ideology in terms of whether COVID vaccination and perhaps some vaccinations more than others, I don't know, that is it from the devil or is it from God? Is this God? Is this antichrist? Is this, satanic? So, I have spoken with people. There were entire churches that recommended to their congregations that this is satanic, and you should be careful and not to take the COVID vaccination. Okay, so if that question can be posed about a vaccination, I think that question can be posed about cryptocurrency as well. But I think the reason we don't hear that question being posed about cryptocurrency so much is because the vaccination was kind of compulsory, de facto compulsory. You kind of had to take it. And so it brought out the sentiment that people, it brought out people's need to express themselves and kind of make their position known. Very honestly, I'm telling you, if cryptocurrency became mandatory, like, I know it's not going to become mandatory anytime soon, but I'm just saying, if it became mandatory, people would express themselves and this question would be asked: is cryptocurrency from God or from the devil? Is it satanic? Is it antichrist? Is it sinful? Is it a very corrupt thing? Is it good or bad? Right? This question about the morality, the ethics, the I don't know, the whole ethical structure or framework of cryptocurrency will definitely come into question. I mean, as it is, everybody says cryptocurrency is only used by people who want to, scam people or cheat or, launder money or sell drugs or weapons or, So as it is, cryptocurrency has kind of a bit of a bad name. But, if it was made compulsory, this question that I posed earlier, is cryptocurrency from God or from Satan? I'm telling you seriously. I seriously think that if this cryptocurrency was a mandatory thing in this world, that a lot of people would ask that question. And so even though that's not a very commonly heard question, I tend to believe that it is a commonly held sentiment, that people actually question cryptocurrency in various ways, right? So this is not like a question that, you know, I can answer in one video, or I don't even claim to have the answer for this question, right? But it's a question that I certainly like to discuss, and I would love for you guys to leave your comments on what you think about on your own thoughts about it, right? And what you think it is about. Is it from God or is it from Satan? But in my own discussion of this, okay, let me kind of take away the God and the Satan and all that kind of very, what do you say, faith-based element. Let's just talk about, is cryptocurrency good for society and for people, or is it bad for people, like for the world, right? Is it good for us? Is it bad for us, right? Does it do us good? Does it bring us a benefit, or does it bring us harm? So here's the thing, guys, right? And this is the one thought I think I want to leave you with, right? Because I don't want to like go into everything in a single video. But if I am not mistaken, and please correct me if you think I am, okay? But if I am not mistaken, from a long time ago, and I'm not a historian, so I'm not trying to give you dates and say exactly what and what, right? But didn't we have kings a long time ago? Like rulers, kings, emperors, right? And didn't even the land all belong to the king? Even in Sri Lanka, didn't every part of the land belong officially to the king, right? So what do you have there? You have a centralization of power, a highly centralization of power, right? This is both in the political sphere as well as in the religious sphere, right? So there was a time when the church controlled like pretty much everything, and dictated even to the state how the country should be controlled. So I think the Church of England, right? I mean, there was a time, I think, when the Church of England and the government of England, like, I think, you know, almost hand in hand. So it was not a secular state at all, right? And I don't know whether America calls itself a secular state now. Maybe it does, but its constitution is still like very biblical, and in God we trust, and you know, it's highly like, you know, it's a very Christian. I don't know if they call themselves a secular state, but if they do, well, it's a very highly Christianized version of a secular state. But I digress. So is cryptocurrency good for us, or is cryptocurrency bad for us? So here's the thing. The way I see it, from a very, very, very long time ago, okay, we started with a centralized power system where all power was centralized in the hands of like a king, a family, right? A dynasty, like, you know, a ruling class, okay? Wealth belonged to them. When there was slavery, even human beings belonged to them, right? Like they were owned, right? After that, you know, that intensity of power and control that existed at a very central point kind of slowly broke down. And if I'm not mistaken, later on you had things like the feudal system, right? In the feudal system, there was that power, but then there was also a lot of other people who were powerful, like an entire second layer of aristocrats and rich people. But yet, right, I mean, it was like, firstly, there was just this one major god figure kind of thing, or family ruling everybody, right? And now you had the god figure, and now you had like a second layer of demigods, right? Still ruling over everybody, and well, maybe not ruling, but still having all the power, the wealth. And they were sometimes referred to as, I think, the patron of the arts or something, because they would, if they like an artist or if they like somebody, they would invest in that person. And so basically the masses, for the longest time, have had very little agency or freedom or ability or capacity to really sculpt their own life, because there are layers and layers and layers and layers of authority over each person, right? And I'm not even going into how this is culturally manifested. I'm just sticking with the political dimension for the moment, but cultural dimensions of control, wow, that's a whole nother story, right? So anyway, so now you might be wondering, where am I getting to with all this? Well, here's the thing. The way I see it, over the hundreds and hundreds of years that we have lived as a human race, there has been a consistent pattern. And this pattern has been that power is becoming less and less centralized, and the individual human being is becoming more and more empowered, emancipated, free for his good or free for his bad, free to do as he pleases, kind of, as she pleases, for her benefit or for his downfall. But there is certainly more freedom and a very, very instrumental, both political and religious event in this scenario was actually the separation of the church and the state at some point in history. So at some point, the church lost its kind of power to rule over people, and yet the state kind of still held its power as a form of kings and so on in the UK, in England. And then, of course, you had democracy coming in. And when democracy came in, it really started to undermine that entire ideology of, one person having complete control. And yet we see people having a lot of control sometimes, because it is, I guess, still possible to create positions like executive presidencies or whatever these, very highly powerful positions are. Okay, but the thing is that the long and short of it is that really, at the end of the day, the power is getting more and more decentralized and going down to the level of the individual, going down to the level of each human being, right? It's not that everybody is equal, but isn't all of history, or isn't most of history, a kind of a gradual progression towards this? Am I right? Am I wrong? Okay, I know I can't probably include North Korea in this conversation. Probably leave out China as well. Russia, I don't know. Okay, but 3 countries, big countries, of course, but still. But in the rest of the world, in almost the rest of the entire world, has not power been in a trajectory of being gradually distributed down from the center, right? And has not the journey of the human race, whether it is faith-based, politically based, or culturally based, being one of each person being able to have a greater sense of autonomy, emancipation, freedom, right? And in all sectors, like politically, for sure, uh, in terms of religion, I mean, the control that the church had to kind of dictate terms on how everybody should behave, and even culturally, the way you had to conform, all the time, and how you were ostracized if you didn't conform. I mean, even that has been undermined a lot, right? So people are now finding freedom to express themselves the way they feel, they want to. And, if others don't like it, then, you know. So, okay, so now you're probably wondering, like, what on earth does all this have to do with cryptocurrency? So here's the thing, guys. After all these stages of kings, the feudal system, kings, the gods, the demigods, the feudal system, right? And democracy, which seemed like, maybe the final expression of this decentralized power structure, you still had within democracy, okay? Hear me out. Within democracy, you still had, or you still have, we still have powerful institutions, and institutions are venerated, right? I mean, it has been said that a country is as strong as its institutions are. I've heard that before, right? And I think that is something that maybe a president of the United States said, I'm not sure. But a country is as strong as its institutions are. And I've definitely heard someone, a president of the United States, say that they've built their institutions very strong, to be very strong, and that's why they're a very strong country. But once again, under democracy, okay, you are basically creating yet another level of power structures of power. Only this time it's not a person, a family, now it's called an institution or a company or a corporation, okay? But that is not an individual. So now enter cryptocurrency, okay? Despite all the bad rap that it has got up to now, or the possibility of abuse, which it does have at the moment, cryptocurrency kind of brings in the possibility of circumventing institutions. So, the power blocks have now come down to kind of the institution level, and enter cryptocurrency, where now even the institutions can be disempowered. And where does that power then go to? It goes to the hands of the individual, the hands of communities, of people. Not communities like, not like rich communities or powerful communities, and not just like that, but it's like more value-based communities. People who think in a certain way, people who believe in a certain way. It goes to their hands, right? Which is why some governments have, outright banned cryptocurrency, and some governments are very worried about it. And which is why the proponents of cryptocurrency constantly claim that in the near future, the banking system will be circumvented, that there will be no need for banks. Now, okay, I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, right? But the technology does seem to be here, right? So is cryptocurrency from God, or is cryptocurrency from Satan? I don't know. I don't even know if that's a meaningful question to ask. But a question that makes sense to me is cryptocurrency good for us, or is cryptocurrency bad for us? Does it, does it do well for human society, for the human race? Does it cause us harm, or does it benefit us? And the trajectory that I see is a trajectory through history, where over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, thousands of years, the story of the human race has been one in which the individual is gradually being emancipated and set free, right? And the power that resides in the center, or resided in the center, is gradually being broken down until it is almost moving towards some kind of very equal status. I mean, you might think this is ideological, you might think this is a crazy idea, you might think this will never happen, and I'd love to hear about that if that's how you think. I mean, I'd love to hear the counter to what I'm saying. I'm not insisting on this at all, but it's how it appears to me, right? And finally, under the most decentralized power system, which is democracy, we still had strong institutions, which we are proud of, strong corporations, okay? And that still somehow took away some agency from the human being. It gave some benefit to people, yes, but it also took away some agency from the human being, from the individual. So enter cryptocurrency, and is there now the possibility that institutions and corporations will be undermined like the monarchies and the emperors and the kings were undermined? Is there now the possibility that just like the monarchs and the emperors and the kings thought that their power and their way of ruling will live forever and be there forever, and it is almost completely abolished now? Is there the possibility that cryptocurrency will gradually erode and abolish the power of institutions, corporations, and wait for it, governments? Okay? And if that happens, is it going to be freedom for all people, or is it going to be absolute anarchy? And is everybody just going to turn on themselves, and is the whole world going to just explode and implode at the same time? So these are my thoughts, guys, on cryptocurrency, or just some of my thoughts on cryptocurrency. And sorry if the video was a little long. I do tend to like to kind of explain myself a little bit, a little verbose, I'm afraid, but I hope you got the idea kind of that I'm trying to say, and I'd really love to hear what you think about it. I'd really love to hear your view on it, because hey, somebody told me, actually somebody, my boss, the first secretary of a certain embassy, took me into a room and said, Nilhan, you know what? I've never had an idea that was not improved by listening to others and trying to incorporate their ideas into mine. That was a clear message to the way I think, and to the very way I'm opinionated, and I have strong opinions. So anyway, I have come to understand that and accept that. So my ideas are now held a little more tentatively, So I mean, I'd love to hear counter. I'd love to hear the counter. I'd love to consider the counter. Is cryptocurrency here to finally blockchain cryptocurrency? Is this the final or the next? Let's not go to final. Is it the next phase of the emancipation of the human being? Is it the next phase of freedom and agency for the individual, or is it some really bad, plot or plan or destructive force that's going to crumble society and harm the world? So guys, I will leave you with that. And so far, 21-day water challenge, second day, doing all right. Black coffee without milk and sugar, keeping me going. Yeah, so hopefully I will get through this. And so hope to catch you in the next video. And if you do see this video, once again, I'd just very much to hear your views and ideas about just anything. It doesn't have, there's nothing right, there's nothing wrong, right? I mean, it's just the way we think about these things and how our thinking about these things evolves. So please, I invite you, feel free, leave a comment under the video. Just tell me what you feel, ask me a question, challenge my views, give me your side of the story, so that together we can learn to think more and understand this new world economy better, and maybe prepare for it, maybe even partake in it, or maybe just avoid it altogether. Who knows? Okay, so thank you very much, and catch you again in the next video.